possible. It's the first chapter, period. It's the first chapter of creation.
Right.
That's what it is when I look at the book. That's why it said the moment he asked the question.
Right.
Master, please tell me of the beginning of the universe.
And what did his master do?
His master smiles and looks at him. He looks at him as though he's looking through him, not seeing him at all. His master's face is void of any expression nor manifestation, nor even a thought appears to be moving. He is utterly still. Then he speaks. And so it was in the beginning, darkness, the void of emptiness, the mind of the universe.
And so it was. His depiction of that was so utterly perfect. That's why he manifested no expression. There was nothing to manifest, because he was conveying to his disciple what was. And so today, the scientists who try and tell you all about this was, that was, this was, that was, I understand they attempt to do so. And that's what it is. It's an attempt to do so. But if you can't go back to that before movement occurred in the universe, then you can't tell me nothing about the universe.
Yes, sir.
But the one who is able to go back to that before movement occurred in the universe can also tell me how it started, what started it, what caused it to be. And the only one can do that is the one who did it.
Yes, sir.
And we have that one today. That one's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. What we know from the one who taught us about him in the person of Master W.F. Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that struck me about him was his appearance. Why was his appearance like this? I can't imagine if there is a God, one say. I can't imagine the real one presenting himself any other way than the way Master Farad Muhammad, the one we recognize as the Allah, presented himself. The appearancy of him was light. The depth of him was darkness, which coincide perfectly with the way the universe is. The appearancy is light. The depth is darkness.
Yes, sir. Makes sense to me.
Made sense to me too.
Well, that kind of leads me into this part of chapter 1, which I guess is the part that put me somewhere else. I guess. And it deals with the movement that occurred in the darkness. It says, This is on page 9, chapter 1. It says, there was no time, for it had yet to be manifested or calculated. All that existed was the darkness, the void of emptiness, stillness personified. Then movement occurred in the universe of darkness and stillness. Time began, but was still not manifested. This motion caused, and this is the part that, I'm familiar with the teachings, but I've never heard it put like this. It says, this motion caused friction in the stillness of the darkness. This friction caused heat, and the heat produced the fire that we now call our sun, and the fire generated and radiated light. This was the revealing, the manifestation of light out from the darkness. The light of the fire then revealed all that was hidden in the dark within the range of its power to do so. Its range of power is determined by its mass and intensity of force. Thus, the new beginning had set forth a new order of existence. That part alone, that part alone had me locked for quite some time.
Well, basically, when you look at it, and we can look at it, when I said stillness personified, absolute stillness personified, because motion had yet to be manifest. If you have stillness personified, then when the slightest motion occurred, that set another law. That automatically set another law in the universe. For that one who had the ability and power to move, when such a mass of absolute stillness covered the void, the deep, that had to be an extremely powerful force. That force, when it moved, it automatically set this new law into motion, which automatically caused friction with the law that presently exists, which was stillness.
Yes, sir.
And anytime friction occurs, heat follows. And when enough heat is generated, it creates fire. And when fire is created, it produces light. Now you can see why darkness was so upset.
Right. Now,
Because in this process, it had to yield
yes, sir.
to the light.
And now, based on our teachings, I guess we can call that movement, what we've been taught in the nation, was the cracking of the atom.
The cracking of the atom. Well, scientists today, they speak of the Big Bang that occurred.
Right.
Explosion.
Right.
That occurred. And they study atoms today intensely to try and see what occurs if they're able to crack or split an atom. They know one thing about it for sure. They can't destroy it.
Yes, sir.
It will only produce more of itself. So, again, all they're doing is, for the most part, and ain't nothing wrong with studying, ain't nothing wrong with the study they're doing, because they're doing what is natural. They're trying to find out. They're trying to find out all about the beginning.
Right.
And you know why? So that they can create one. This, they will never be able to do. For what they don't realize is they themselves originate from that one. And it's not today, but one.
Always.
The Muslims have a saying, Allah is the only reality. Those who are aware of this meaning know there's only one.
Yes, sir.
Everybody talk about God and the devil is the enemy of God. Yet, on the other hand, they say God created the devil. He made the devil. Whatever you want to say. Well, why would he do such a thing? You mean he made something that he did not know the beginning and the end of, and all that would transpire between that, of what that creation would do? God forbid such a lie. There's no way he could not know that, because it is of his own self.
Yes, sir. Now, you know, that's going to be hard to accept by a lot of people.
Well, there's a lot of things hard to accept, but that is due to their rebellion and rejection of what is.
Yes, sir.
Not that it's hard to accept at all. In every book that I know of pertaining to God and the devil, it is stated that he is the originator of him, be it made or be it created.
Right.
And you're only talking, first of all, about a force.
Right.
You're still trapped in these yin and yang battles.
Right.
And you'll be trapped, all who think like that will be trapped into these yin yang skirmishes, because they don't know self. This battle is occurring within their own lives. This conflict, people who think like this are conflicted. And this conflict is in there. Things that benefit them, things that are good to them, like children. Things that they like and enjoy, they say are from God.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
Things that they can control, all of this is from God. Things that they can't control, things that cause them pain, anguish, depression, etc., all those things, they are from the devil. No, the conflict is in yourself, and by you not knowing and understanding your own mind, you are conflicted. And these problems is what they are. Of the conflict is created by you, no one else.
Yes, sir.
That is the real of the matter. No one else. We taught that, we were taught by our teacher that one of our scientists by the name of Yakub looked into us, and the playing with two pieces of steel, we now know had to be magnets. And him realizing that there were two poles, quite unique, led him to also understand that within us something else existed. Because we were having problems long before the materialization of white people.
Yes, sir.
A lot of blacks don't want to acknowledge that. We were having severe problems. And we couldn't figure out, since it was just us, what was causing all of these problems. What was the culprit of all these problems. So anything that we don't know, we are able to produce one always from us that is able to bring forth this knowledge out of us. Yakub was the one.
Yes, sir.
That did it.
Right.
And how can I say it? Without going too deep into that subject,
Right.
because that's a pretty deep subject.
Well, you touching on that subject still, we're talking about the light, because based on the conversation you and I have had about this light and the different shades that was produced from the friction, we're still on the same subject.
On the same subject, I'll say this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that he, meaning the God, created himself out of triple darkness. And I used to struggle with that. I used to, triple darkness. I used to try to figure out, what the hell is triple darkness? What is triple darkness? And I would be, wow, man, what is it? What is it? And so, from focusing on it so much, it dawned on me. And what dawned on me was, I simply said, okay, let all of the stars go away. Let all of the sun and the light as we know it go away. What do we see? A state of absolute darkness, right?
Right.
We can't see nothing, not even ourselves.
Right.
I said, okay, that's one darkness. And I said, let me see if I can see another type of darkness. Well, since we're dealing with that extreme, I said, let's let all of the darkness go away and there'll be nothing but light. Can I see myself in a world that is in a universe of absolute light?
No.
No, that's impossible to see too. Can't see myself. Don't know I'm there. And I say, now let me see if I can try to find that other darkness. I said, well, I said, those are two physical states of darkness. I said, there's got to be another one. And my study and pursuit of this knowledge led me to what is an individual without understanding. I think there's a little scripture that says, get wisdom, get knowledge, but above all, get understanding. And I say, knowledge is all around us in everything. We're just all around. This knowledge is there.
Right.
And I said, wisdom is but power in force. I said, but without understanding of wisdom and without understanding of knowledge, where are we?
State of darkness.
We are in another state of darkness.